You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot
The
Box.
Phillies are somewhat connected to my boy, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He was FaceTiming Bryce Harper during the meeting. They went and met with his representatives. The rumors are that the Phillies are not going to be the highest bidder, but they are aggressively pursuing him. So I don't exactly know how to take that. I don't know how much money this guy's going to get. I saw a contract that was in the neighborhood of like 10 years, $300 million, which I'm not so sure that he would. I think we talked about this in a previous episode, but I don't think that it would be really smart for him to do a deal that long. I mean, maybe if he wants just the guaranteed money and not have to worry about it, but he's only 25 years old. If he did a 5 or 6 year deal, became a free agent at 31, I think he could cash in again for an even bigger deal that would give him another 6 years and maybe, getting paid $35-40 million a year, right? So that was kind of my thought process when that was happening. But it seems like the organization met with the right-hander last week, had Bryce Harper get involved in the FaceTime call, and as concrete contract offers begin to pour in, Alex Coffey reported that the Phillies intend to stay aggressive in the pursuit of one of the free agent class's top arms. So, I mean, obviously you're going to be fighting off teams like the Yankees and the Dodgers as well, apparently are involved.
Mets,
everyone. It seems like everyone in the majors is going to be involved in this kid's trying to get this kid's services. But I guess it's all going to depend on where does he want to go. It would make sense, honestly. It seems like the Dodgers would make the most logical sense with them getting Ohtani, and those guys. He wanted to play with a Japanese player, I think was one of the things I heard earlier in the offseason. But maybe the Dodgers don't want it. Maybe the price gets too high where they're like, I don't really want to go in on that again. Because I mean
bullshit.
They did just spend a lot of money, Ty.
Horse shit.
But it is deferred. Maybe they'll just defer everything just until the old kick the can down the road in the NFL, and then eventually you got to pay the piper. But
gave Glasnow a bunch of money too.
They did. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know how interested they might be. The Yankees, of course, are always a possibility, but maybe we can talk to them and be like, hey, New York is a shithole. They haven't won anything, and we are the better team. So, what do you think about this? I think you're not going to be as confident or happy about my Phillies being involved in this.
Well, I'd rather get them than the Mets or Yankees. People keep talking about, well, the Yankees have a long tradition of Asian players, and so do the Mets. And I'm like, well, so do the Dodgers. The Dodgers have so many Asian pitchers over the course of their existence, really. And now they have Ohtani, the biggest Asian player ever, right? I mean,
literally,
you got to imagine one of the biggest players, baseball players ever, at least aura-wise, aura. So yeah, I feel like we should be right there in the thick of it. We've had a bunch of Takashi Saito, we had Yu Darvish, we had Maeda, Hiroki Kuroda, Kaz Ishii. I remember him. He was a OG one back in the day, and he was good too. So Chan-Ho Park also, that was one of the biggest South Korean players, at least at that time. So also I remember he got in a fight with somebody. I forget who it was, but we need pitching. We need pitching badly. So Kershaw's still deciding if he wants to what he wants to do. I don't think anybody really cares. We're just like, all right, old man, if you'll come back for one more, I guess we'll have you for in the bullpen or a long relief. But multiple of our pitchers are coming back from Tommy John or still battling back from it or have to get it. Julio Urias, not sure what's going on with him. Trevor Bauer, I don't think, is leaving Japan. I think he's still going to stay over there for one more year, it seems. Also, next year, I think, is when the big fish, Roki Sasaki, is going to be posted and coming over. I think he's going to be probably get more money than Yoshi. I would assume he's younger, and I think he's better. So that's going to be righty, Roki Sasaki. He pitches just like Ohtani. They throw it's crazy, but he's the big fish. Either next year or in 2 years. I think he's 22 or 23 right now. So I think whoever doesn't get Yoshi should look ahead to the future and try to get Roki, because either way, I want all of them though. If I'm the Dodgers, I want every single one. There's another guy, Imanaga, or something like that. He's pretty decent. Sign me up. I want all of them because right now we have We have a bunch of guys who are like semi-injured or injured. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, the Phillies, apparently, according to Ken Rosenthal, that's if they don't end up with Yamamoto, could turn their attention to fellow Japanese left-hander Shota Umaga, a 30-year-old who posted a 2.66 ERA with 10.6 strikeouts per 9 rate for Yokohama. I know you were locked in on Yokohama this year.
I was there.
The reliever from the Orioles is another guy they're looking at, Shintaro Fujinami, which I'm not. All that.
He had like an ERA of 8.
Yeah, like he was getting cooked at the end of the year. I'm okay with that. The Phillies have never really gotten into the Asian Japanese market. Like for as long as I've been a fan of them, I think it's kind of how it's always been. They've never really
international in general. They really
like any of the big time names. Like they obviously go out and they get the Johan Rojas, Carlos. Like they do get some of the lower end guys, but they sign them when they're like 15 and hope that they turn into, stud players. Yeah, exactly. Like I would like them to go out and get a certified stud, like a 25-year-old Yoshinobu, and just, actually just put the money into something like that instead of hoping that somebody turns into something.
Remember they gave $18 million to that one guy and then he died. So.
I don't. Who the fuck is that?
The Cuban pitcher.
Oh,
they were going to give
right.
him $40 million, and then they gave him 18 because his arm was fucked up, and then he died a couple years later.
Rest in peace, dude.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Also forget his name. So
it looks like Rhys Hoskins is going to end up going somewhere else as well. I see in the Cubs and the Mariners as possible landing spots for him. But there you go.
Good. Treat him somewhere he'll be deserved and welcomed.
Yeah, I'm good on all that. If it's not us, I really would like Yamamoto to go to the Yankees so that we don't have to. I think I'm worried. I'm starting to get worried about your Dodgers. Your Dodgers are starting to load up a little bit here.
That's all right. Come on, you can afford to let him come here.
What do you think about Glasnow though? That's a lot of money for Glasnow, dude.
I think he's coming off of a season high innings. I think he's had a bunch of weird seasons. I think he's had some bad luck. Right. I think he was doing really well. He was looking to pitch. Stay healthy all of the COVID shortened year, but since it was shortened, he wasn't able to pitch that long. So I feel like the times he has been healthy, there's been like a caveat. Like last year, it was like, oh well, it's his first healthy year ever. Before it was the COVID year, and then he's had a couple years from injury. He missed 2 years from John. But also, I have a weird suspicion that Tampa Bay, the Rays, I don't know what they do or what they don't do, but they have a lot of pitchers with arm issues. They had like 4 or 5 guys last year who had to get Tommy John alone. I think Jeff Springs, Drew Rasmussen, Shane McClanahan. So pretty much all their pitchers that they've traded for, developed, drafted, signed, whatever, have had to go through some kind of major arm or elbow or shoulder surgery. I feel like there might be something to that. So it'll be interesting to see how Glasnow does in a different organization that has, preaches much more different things and has a different philosophy on and off the field to maybe help him. And now he's like, I think 28, 29. So he's, should be in the physical peak and his prime of his career. And 4 years, 110 is pretty much what we gave him, extending on to the 1 year he had left on his deal. So I feel like, it might be a lot of money and maybe he keeps getting injured and it looks like a terrible deal, but it's only a couple years. So I'm thinking, what's the worst that can happen? He's going to give us a couple solid years and then a couple bad years and then we get rid of him, so.
Yeah.
But I think the potential is through the roof. I think he can definitely, be like a 4 or 5 win pitcher, not, wins above replacement, that is. And as long as he stays healthy, which, with any pitcher is kind of the big concern, right? All pitching in general, and when you throw hard and you, have a bunch of different pitches that you also throw hard, your arm's going to get fucked up. So I don't want to baby any of these guys. I mean, look at the Phillies' top prospects. They're 18, 19, 20, and they're getting Tommy John. So it's just something that happens.
Part of the game. I'm seeing stuff that Corbin Burns might get traded.
Dylan Cease is also.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's something. I think the Phillies, from a Phillies-centered standpoint, need to get a starting pitcher. I don't know who. I don't know how good. But it needs to be somebody that you're going to be able to throw down the stretch and in the playoffs because You went out, you spent good money on a Taiwan Walker last year, and you couldn't even use him in the playoffs. So I don't know if you had to move on from him or if you have to what you got to do, but you have to get somebody in here that you can throw in the playoffs and somebody you can count on because you have two solid starters. You need one more ace-like pitcher that you can count on, and that is really, I think, the whole. Other than maybe there's a couple bullpen arms that they could use. There's still Josh Hader out there who that shoe's going to drop at some point. I don't know where he ends up. The Rangers, obviously the Dodgers, all the big players are always going to be included on a name like that. But yeah, I just the Phillies we need one more. We need a move. It's been a cold stove this offseason for my Philadelphia Phillies. And you're over there in the Dodgers. They had the smoke detectors been going off the entire offseason. It's been
I want more.
As you should. Like we said though. We said a couple episodes ago, you come up short twice in the playoffs, you don't accept that. You go, you know what? We got to do more. We have to get more. We have to get better players. And that's what they're going out and doing. They went out and got the best player in baseball. So the Phillies
haven't done shit.
Yeah,
so
exactly. The Phillies have to do something because what they have now is not acceptable. It's not gonna
do it.
It's not gonna do it. So there you go. Go out and do it.
You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box.